Hey, Elise, want to join us?
Room for one more.
We're watching the
WTF moments from last night's WWE Raw.
WTF! WTF!
Hello, I'm Ross from Cultaholic.com. You are my sexual wank pheasants, and it's that bastard time of the week once again where I take a look at all of the WTF moments from this week's WWE Raw. Coming from the cold, stick your big toe in a pot of hot chocolate. Let's get cracking with a knocking. And we kick things off with a sign that reads, Roman drinks orange juice after he brushes his teeth. Is that supposed to impress me or something? Is Roman supposed to be hard or something? Proving that he can withstand the horrible, bitter aftertaste of orange juice after his mouth has been blessed with some minty freshness? That's nothing. Kevin Dunn can drink a pint of Sunny Delight after he's brushed, waxed, buffered, polished, done everything to his massive front gnashes. Roman's done out there. And we kick things off with Booker T this week, where he claimed that thing there is a real man dog. Well, Booker, are they related to the Mareban pig? What? The Mareban pig? Made a grave mistake, Corey. And we kick things off with Corey Graves' horribleness this week, where he claimed that Cesaro, Sheamus and Samoa Joe were using the numbers advantage when putting the boots to the Shield trio as Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. So we have Cesaro, Sheamus and Joe, Seth, Dean and Roman, Corey, mathematics, no. Whoever designed that arena there has got to be a massive troll, because to me, as I'm sure it does to you as well, it just looks like a massive set of cock and balls with a nice vajazzle. That's right, a cock jazzle. Those hacks at the Arab News, USA Today and Mrs. Ladyballs herself, Stephanie McMahon, are so wrong. While Michael Cole got it absolutely spot on last night when he claimed that Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss took place in the first ever Women's Championship match in Abu Dhabi, the people who I just mentioned before, who claimed it was the first ever women's match in Abu Dhabi's history, were talking absolute bollocks. Taking nothing away from Alexa and Sasha themselves, but this is clearly just a case of WWE not doing their research before patting themselves on the back and implying that old mentality of I don't see you, I don't hear you, you don't exist when it suits them best. November the 30th, 2010, TNA, Abu Dhabi Combat Club, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky against Sarita and Madison Rayne. They were the first women to do a match in Abu Dhabi, not Alexa and Sasha. WWE treat their superstars like infant siblings. One infant gets a train, then presumably backstage another infant sibling moans about not having a train, so WWE give them a train just to make things fair. Enzo Amore gets the Zoe train, Paige, his little sister, is presumably all like, oh Charlotte, Enzo got a train, where is mine? And then WWE give her the Absolution train. A year and a half ago, every bastard on Raw had a talk show, now they're all getting trains. And next up we have a sign that reads that Balor Club is better than Suplex City, a sign that implies that Finn Balor is better than Brock Lesnar, a sign that implies that your boy Finn Balor is over. I guess with all these implications and what we've seen on the social medias in recent times, this means that you need to grab to each animal head for the bastard border, because as we all know, Finn Balor is not over, according to one Dave Meltzer, but those signs there suggest he is. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, bye. And what's that? A woman with a Finn Balor shirt? What is presumably her daughter with a Finn Balor sign? Well, if you didn't grab to each animal before, you certainly need to do now, because the end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, bye. And next up we have Kane, who claimed that if he defeated Braun Strowman on last night's Raw, that he would go on to face Brock Lesnar for what he claimed would be the first time ever. And as you can tell, this little grin here is going to tell you that Kane is wrong. SmackDown at San Jose, the 21st of September 2002, a card that included the likes of John Cena versus Bull Buchanan, Reverend Devon versus Randy Orton, and you guessed it, Kane versus Brock Lesnar with the Undisputed Championship on the line. A match, if you were wondering, Brock Lesnar won by disqualification. And next up we have those knobheads on commentary who claimed that Sheamus went back to Ireland for that sabbatical a couple of weeks ago to get his head straight, even though the man himself uploaded a video to his personal YouTube channel showing him going through some recuperation work and going to see his pet chameleon, which he went and stroked. His chameleon is called My Name is Jeff. That's a true story. I didn't make it up for the purposes of entertainment, believe it or not. Sheamus showed what he has to go through in this recuperation work where he gets a hammock for his neck, lies down in a straight position and keeps his head still for 20 minutes. In which case, he did go home to get his head quite literally straight in a hammock, so I've just wasted your time. Made a grave mistake, Corey. Corey Graves calling Seth Rollins sure-footed is like me calling Booker T sure-mouthed. On one hand, Rollins has had 2 massive leg injuries in recent times. On the other hand, Rollins can't quite decide whether he wants to be a bastard who turns on his pals or a brother who loves his pals. Corey Graves, in those 2 instances, Seth Rollins proved to us all that he's as sure-footed as Zach Gowen when he's lost his prosthetic limb. So last night's Cruiserweight Fatal 4-Way match was billed as a second chance affair. Isn't that ironic, don't you think? Does that mean that next week, Rich Swann, who, you know, might be looking for a second chance after what happened over the weekend, he'll get his second chance match next week. Then next week after that, he'll meet the winner of last night's second chance match, and oh my god, tea time. And next up we have Booker asking, what the hell is that? Simple answer, Booker, which you should know since you're a bastard wrestling commentator. It's a one-armed Spanish fly. What on earth are you? And next up we have a simple yet awesome WTF moment where Drew Gulak called Booker T Mr. T. I tell you what, since War Jordinev took his bow and went here, Mr. Gulak has become the undisputed king of the Cruiserweights. And if he loses his match next week, I will do something absolutely unspeakable to somebody who never saw it coming. And next up we have Jojo, who claimed that Cesaro on last night's Raw was weighing in at 221 pounds. It was a moment that had me all like, what? Oh hell no, hold up, huh? Oh. There she goes, little Jojo, making up numbers like she was making up stories as to why her and Bray Wyatt were having sleepovers together. Oh dear. And next up we have Michael Cole, who was asking how Roman Reigns is still standing after that. A blow to the shoulder off the ring post. Oh, I don't know, Michael. It might be because he's not a bastard sloth who uses his hands to walk places, although he is as chilled as one, thanks to that sweet Mary Jane. Sticking with Magdalene this time, he claimed that last week on Raw, Alicia Fox did just as well as anyone has in history in her match against Asuka. I mean, that's just a lie. It's an absolute myth, like Michael's little soul patch. Just go back and look at the annals of NXT history, Maggle. Her classics were Emma, her classics were Bayley, her classics were Ember Moon, and while you're at it, shave that bastard thing off because it looks like a mully. Ross Tweddle likes big sweaty men. Ross Tweddle likes big sweaty men. Ross Tweddle likes big sweaty men. Thank you for those signs. Hang on a second, 1 second before Alicia Fox was too injured to come out to have her match with Asuka, then a second later, she was kicking all kinds of ass. I mean, what's the crack there? It wasn't as if Alicia Fox was being a massive chick and you know what and pretending to be injured so she didn't have to fight Asuka. It looked like Absolution had attacked her backstage, which meant she couldn't come out. And then you have the weird alliance between Alexa Bliss and the rest of the Raw Women's locker room when surely Alexa Bliss as champion should be thankful for Absolution attacking the rest of the locker room and picking off her potential opponents one by one. Huh? So seconds after 11 women were in that ring, Kurt Angle reckons the ring needs reinforced before Braun and Kane get in there to do a little bit of graps. So you've got 10 women, about 120 pounds a piece. I think that's fair. Maybe they're a little bit more. Then you have Nia Jax on top of that, 275 pounds. Add all their weights together, you get roughly £1 million. While Braun and Kane, just the pair of them, roughly 700. Women a lot more than that. Is Jason Jordan putting his hands on Dean Ambrose during a Dean Ambrose singles match? Not a DQ win for Dean Ambrose because Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son, therefore he can do whatever he wants? Or is it because the referee doesn't know the rules? And this time we have Booker T claiming that Kane has posed the biggest threat to Braun Strowman since Braun Strowman arrived on Raw, even though Braun Strowman has just come through a massive feud with Brock Lesnar. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that Brock Lesnar is a bigger threat to Braun Strowman than Kane is, but you also don't need me to tell you that Booker T is a bigger threat than all of those to himself, the dangerous bastard. Always getting soup down his shirt, isn't he? Tea time. Musical stairs. So there we have it, no winner and presumably a triple threat at the Royal Rumble where Kane will eat the pinfall because he's an old jobber these days, where he's going up against Braun Strowman, who can't really lose to Brock Lesnar again, otherwise we kill the monster Braun Strowman. All this is happening while your boy Finn Balor is waiting in the wings doing nothing, where surely he would benefit the most from a stature-building defeat. No! Oh, monsters, yay. And that is it for your WTF moments from this week's WWE Raw. I've been Ross from Cultaholic.com. Follow me on the Twitter machine here. Pledge to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you can give is greatly appreciated. But most importantly, do not forget to join us.